Hello everyone. We'll just check the audio and video, and after that we'll just go live. Yes. Okay, perfect guys. I'm really sorry guys, some technical fault happened and our previous session discontinued in between. So I welcome you all back in Let's Crack J in English, and today we'll be covering Circle Part 2. Okay. So in today's lecture, we'll be talking about tangents, point of contact. We'll also be talking about tangents length. So all these things we'll be talking about today. Am I audible? You all back? Okay. So nothing. It's just one technical glitch happened, and suddenly that session ended in between. So if you can just revise whatever we have studied so far. We have studied. There are different forms of circle. We have also studied about how to find out the radius, how to find out the circle's equation. So all these things we have spoken about. So anyone who is joining me the very first time, so for him, this is a small introduction that I am Nishant Khanduja. I graduated and post-graduated in aerospace engineering from IIT Bombay. My All India rank was 1256, and in AIEEE, earlier AIEEE used to be there. All India Engineering Entrance Examination. There my rank was 363, and in Rajasthan pre-engineering test my rank was. Just give me a moment, guys, and I'll just select the pointer. Give me a moment. Yes, here I go. And in Rajasthan pre-engineering test, my rank was 4. I traded in US and Canadian markets for 2 years, and post that I joined this teaching industry. So I have been teaching, and it has been almost 8 years I have been teaching. I was never associated with any coaching institute. Actually, during my college days only I started teaching. I guess it was my 4th year when I started teaching. So I was always teaching individual students, those who couldn't go to coaching institutes, or those who are a part of big coaching institutes, but somehow they have given up on this, the institution or the preparation of IIT. So that's where I came into picture. I designed the course in such a manner that it helps the students. If someone who needs finishing, he just wants to improve his speed, so my strategy would be different. If someone who is very bad with basics, he doesn't know he doesn't even know what is the concept. So for him, just giving him the basic knowledge, then just building the entire JEE preparation castle. So yes, everything was different. So luckily, yes, I have got my 4 students, those who are in IIT, and I'm waiting for 2 of my students' results as well. So let's see what happens. And that's why, because of that thing only, I ended up joining Unacademy, because I wanted to help people out. Those who couldn't go to coaching institute, they are being there in tier 3, tier 4 cities, or maybe in villages. And during this pandemic, yes, we have seen people couldn't go to these big coaching institutes. So I wanted to share my experience with all these people around. So that was my bit, and I am ready to do that. But what I want from you is, I just want you to just do this simple thing. What you need to install an Academy learning app. Install it. There are 2 sort of packages. One is plus subscription, another one is your iconic subscription. Now this plus subscription is has got these 3 things: daily live classes. These daily live classes are completely different from your YouTube classes. You can't even compare your Unacademy special classes to these YouTube classes, because you have entirely different interaction level there. Parallelly, you get structured courses. You do not need to study multiple books and do repetitive questions. When your top educators from India, they can give you good questions, chosen questions. Why don't you just solve those questions? Because those questions are covering all the basics. You are also getting a chance of do live tests and quizzes. Whenever you feel like you want to check your knowledge, go for live tests and quizzes and get your results. Apart from that, you also get the unlimited access to all these subjects and all the videos from all the top educators. It's not about that you'll be studying maths from me. You can teach you can study maths from Prashant Jain sir, you can study maths from Manoj Chauhan sir, you can study physics from Amit Gupta sir. So you have got other top educators as well in other subjects. You can access their videos also. You are not restricted to me. This subscription is not for only one subject. This is for all the three subjects and with all the top educators available on Unacademy platform. Okay. Now, in Iconic subscription, you get three things extra. You get personal coach. You also get study planner. Because sometimes I have seen students, they are also doing 11th, 12th, so they might not be able to dedicate their time, or maybe they'll not be able to dedicate daily for IIT JEE preparation. So for them, we have got study planner so that they can also be a part of this campaign. You can also have test analysis report. Test analysis report is something like a boon from technology. Now it tells you where exactly you are losing marks. So can we reduce that part where you are exactly losing marks? You have to be just a bit attentive. If you can become attentive, you will be rechecking or cross-checking the question before marking the answer. Because what's happening, when you attempt those certain topics, you lose marks. And what we want you to improve your rank. If we are just removing those negative markings, or maybe we are not attempting those questions, eventually we are just improving our score, and that would be seen in your result. Apart from these three benefits, you also get all the benefits what you get in plus subscription. Okay, so you get packages for 6, 12, 24 months. People, those who are in 11th standard, should go for 2-year subscription, because first of all, that would be very cheap. Second, you would get a chance for the entire preparation. You do not need to just go here and there for the preparation, because it's like I say it's like a tapasya. Why do you want to have distraction in your tapasya? Obviously no one wants it. Teacher understand you, you understand the teachers, so you guys can make a team and deliver a better result. Are you getting it? So better you go for 24 months package. When hi, good evening, Adya. When I just look at the price here, it is what, 80 rupees per day, 27 rupees per day per subject. Really, that's cheaper. So that sort of cheap education you are getting in 27 rupees from all the top educators all over India. So that would cost you what, 56,000. But there is a small gift from my end, and you can pay lesser amount. And what you need to pay is, you need to pay 50,400 rupees once you apply this promo code. You just need to apply code and write NK001. People, those who are in 12th and they are dropping out, for them this package would cost them 34,650 rupees, and they need to just pay this after applying my code. Clear? For Iconic subscription, you need to pay 77,400 rupees for 2 years subscription after applying my code. Similarly, for 1 year, you have to pay 50,400 rupees after applying my code NK001. Okay. So before starting a class, we'll be doing our thing. What is the thing? We'll have a 5 minutes meditation session. Okay. So let's start, guys. I want all of you to just close your eyes, and when I say one, I want all of you to just inhale. And when you inhale or exhale, just focus on your breath, the way air is going inside, the way air is coming out. Just focus on air. Let's not distract yourself. Okay, let's close your eyes. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1 2 1, hold your breath, 2. Now when I say 1, I want all of you to inhale. Then when I say 2 3 4, so I want all of you to gradually exhale. 1, hold your breath, 2 3 4, 1, hold your breath, 2 3 4, 1, 2 3 4. When I say 1 2 3, so I want all of you to gradually inhale. 1 2 3, hold your breath, 4, 1 2 3, hold your breath, 4. Now when I say 1, I want you to inhale and start chanting Om. Okay, let's gradually open your eyes. Okay, let's go ahead and start our session. So I hope, yes, you guys can recall whatever we studied yesterday. We studied about the definition, how to calculate radius and center. Then we also spoke about when we have diameters coordinate, then how to find the equation of circle, then equation of circle in parametric form. And when we have different conditions, when your circle is touching the x-axis, y-axis, having intercepts, passing from origin. So for all these conditions, we studied the circle's equation. Now let's start our session with this topic: position of a point with respect to a circle. Now, let's say when someone gives you a circle, he also gives you the radius of the circle, and he also gives you the center's coordinate. What I'm going to say is minus g minus f, if this is the general equation of your circle. Now tell me, if I want to check whether a point lies inside the circle or outside the circle, what would I do? Simply, I'll just check its distance from the center. Now to check its distance from the center, what will I do? I'll simply calculate its distance from center. So using distance formula, this will be what? Alpha plus g whole square plus beta plus f whole square will be equal to what? Now if it is equal to r, then what does that mean? That means this point is exactly on the perimeter. But just imagine if it is this distance, point's distance from the center is more than radius. What does that mean? That means this point is outside the circle. And just imagine if this is lesser than radius, then it is inside the circle. Simple. Clear? People also write it the very same thing in different way also. Now how? They write it like this as well. they'll just square both the sides. When they square both the sides, so eventually what do you get? Alpha square plus g square plus f square plus twice of alpha g plus twice of f of y plus beta square minus r square. Now just check this and this. If you just check out all these things, what do you see? Alpha square plus f square, sorry, alpha square plus beta square. Then you have got twice of alpha g plus twice of f of y plus g square plus f square minus r square. If this thing, if the entire thing is turning out to be 0, then what does that mean? It is lying on circle. If it is greater than 0, it is outside the circle, and lesser than 0, it is inside the circle. So what eventually they do is they just take the equation of the circle and they put the value of, what do they do? They just put the value of the point. If this entire expression turns out to be what? More than 0, then outside. Now you would say, how can I say that? It's very simple. See, what is c? Radius is what? Radius is root g square plus f square minus c, correct? Now see, I can square, what do I see? G square plus f square minus c. So using that I can say my c will be what? G square plus f square minus r square. And this is what is there, c. So alpha square plus beta square plus twice of alpha g plus twice of f of y plus c will be equal to 0 when it is at the circle, greater than 0 outside, lesser inside. So this condition, this thing, this inequality got transformed into this inequality. In that, what you need to do is just take the curves equation, put the value of your given point, and if it turns out to be more than 0, outside, it is outside. If it turns out to be lesser than 0, then it is inside. Simple, sorted. Let's go ahead. Let's solve this question. Find the greatest distance of the point 10, 7 from the circle x square plus y square minus 4x minus 2y plus 20. Now what I'll do is I'll just draw the diagram. Now after that you guys tell me, what do you think, what should be the greatest distance? So as I can see, looking at this equation, I can clearly say what will be the center here? Minus g. So check here. So 2 and minus f, 1. So 2 and 1. So 2 comma 1. So let's say somewhere here. This will be the center. What will be the radius? G square plus this f square minus c. So root 25. Basically 5. So radius 5. So this would be the circle. I'm sorry for the drawing, but I hope yes you'll be able to understand what I am trying to say. So let's say this is a circle with radius 5. Now see, there is a point 10, 7 somewhere here. Now from this point, you want to calculate the greatest distance from the circle. Now what does that mean? That means is you have to calculate the maximum distance between this point and circle's point. So let's say if this is a general point, this is the distance between the circle and this point, given point. This is any general distance. See, this could be also one possible option, any general, but the question here is greatest. Now you tell me guys, what will be the greatest distance? Greatest distance will be exactly when this will pass from the origin and you would get some point exactly opposite to the diameter. Got it? So what you need to do is you just need to calculate this green distance. Now how will you calculate? What we can do is, since we know the coordinate of this point, our center, we also know the coordinate of this point. We can calculate this part, and the remaining part is what? Remaining part is your radius. We'll add that up. Simple. Let's calculate. Let's say this is L. So my L here would be 10 minus 2 whole square plus 7 minus 1 whole square. That is what? 64 plus 36 square root. So square root of 100 is what? 10. And the greatest distance will be what? L plus R. So my greatest distance will be what? 10 plus 5. 15. So 15 will be the answer. So whosoever is present here, be it Adya, SYM24, whosoever is having the doubt, you're free to ask the question. Tell me guys, Adya, if you have any doubt, you can ask. Okay, let's move ahead. And next question. Find the number of integral values of lambda for which x square plus y square plus lambda x plus 1 minus lambda y, actually this is y, plus 5 is the equation of a circle whose radius does not exceed 5. Okay. So what the only given condition here is that the equation of this circle should not be more than 5. So what is the radius formula here? G square. What is G here? Minus lambda by 2. So lambda square by 4 plus what is here? This coefficient of y, 1 minus lambda. So 1 minus lambda by 2's whole square. Here, so your b square, your g square, f square done. Now you are left with minus c. Minus c is what? Your minus 5. That's it. And let's do one thing. Let's take the LCM. When we take the LCM, we get L lambda square plus 1 plus lambda square minus twice of lambda minus 20 upon 4. So this 4 will come out. I'll be taking the square root. I'll have what? 1 by 2. Clear? So I can rewrite this as 1 by 2 twice of lambda square minus of 2 lambda. Then we'll have minus of 19. Lambda square twice of lambda square minus of 2 lambda, and this is minus 19. Correct? So this is what? This is the final length of my radius. Now this length cannot be more than 5. Does not exceed. So correct? So lesser equal to 5. Now let's solve this inequality. When I try to solve this inequality, I'll just square both the sides. When I square both the sides, I see what? Twice of lambda square minus twice of lambda minus 19 lesser equal to what? 10. 10 square is what? 100. Let's check, Adya, let's check. Twice of lambda square minus twice of lambda minus 119 lesser equal to 0. Okay. Now let's check this. We can use our quadratic equation roots. So formula, so lambda will be what? Let's say, so minus b, so 2 plus minus b square 4 minus 4ac, so plus 4, 8 times 119, so 800 and then 150, 956. So 800 and this 1152. So this, right, upon twice of a, so 4. I can, hi Shastri Dwedi 12th A. So I can have what? Since this is what, 9 of 960, so 956. So from 956 I can take, let's say, 4 common. When I take 4 common, so what do I have left with? So when I take 4 common, I have this term. So I have this 2, and this is what? 8, 1, 5, 3. Then I write what? 12. Then I have 3, 6, 9. So 239. So 2 will cancel out. So I'll have 1 plus minus root 239 by 2. Now I can just calculate. Hi Sahil Kath, namaste, namaste. So let's calculate the root of 239. So the root of 239 is 15 point something. Can you please tell me what is that? 15.45, I guess. So 15.45. Let's use that. So 1 plus minus 15.45 by 2. So if I solve it, so lambda for this quadratic inequality, lambda belongs to, this is your equal, this is a closed bracket. So when I take minus, it becomes what, 14.45. When I divide it, I get what, minus 7.225 something. And when I take plus, 16.45, so 8.225 something. Now the question says we have to find the number of integral values. The integers between this interval would be what? Starting from minus 7, minus 6, and it will continue till 8. So we will have what? How many values? So from here 1 to 8, 8 values, and from minus 7 to minus 1, 7 values, and then 0. So overall we have 16 values. And as we can see, yes, Adya has answered correctly. Yes. Hi Sahil. ऐसा ये क्वेश्चन आपने प्रीवियस ईयर में देखा था. ओके, अच्छा है. तो साहिल, आई होप आपको क्वेश्चन समझ में आया हो. क्वेश्चन समझ में आया तो बहुत अच्छी बात. कोई भी डाउट हो इस सर्कल रिलेटेड, कोई भी टॉपिक से, मतलब सर्कल से रिलेटेड कोई भी डाउट हो, कोई भी क्वेश्चन अगर आपसे जो सॉल्व नहीं हो रहा हो आपकी बुक का, तो आप बता सकते हैं. साहिल कैथ 70 नहीं हो सकता. देखो ना, स्टार्ट हो रहा है -7 से, तो -7 से स्टार्ट होगा. सो -7, -6, -5, -4, -3, -2, -1 टिल हियर 7 वैल्यूज, 0, 8 वैल्यूज. करेक्ट. सो यहां तक 0 तक कितनी है? 8 वैल्यूज. From 1 to 8, again you have got 8 values. So 8 plus 8, 16. Yes, Sahil, we have included 0. You can calculate from -7 to 8. Starting from -7 to 8. No issues, Sahil. Sahil, if you have any doubt, you're free to ask. Okay, let's move to our next. Let's include our next. Let's talk about our next condition. So the condition of intersection of a line and a circle. Now what will be the condition if a line is intersecting a circle? Let's say I have got this equation, general equation of a circle. And I have also got one line. Let's say y is equal to mx plus c. Now tell me guys, if this line is intersecting this circle, what would happen? When it is intersecting, certainly if we'll try to solve these two equations, we'll get what? 2 solutions. Because it's a quadratic thing. So for sure, we'll get what? 2 solutions. Clear? We'll get 2 solutions. So what does that mean? That means when it is intersecting, so our discriminant, see, I'm not saying it says intersection clearly. Understand this word, intersection. That means we are having 2 intersection points. My discriminant should be greater than 0. I can't make it equal to 0. For equal to 0, it should say it is touching the circle. So when it is greater, discriminant should be greater than 0. Correct? So let's write this down. Let's write this quadratic equation in general form. What is the general form? Ax square plus bx plus c, that form. So I'll write that first. So first I'll write that so that it becomes easier for you to solve it further. So this becomes what? X square plus m square x square plus c square plus 2mxc plus 2gx plus 2fmx plus twice of fc plus c is equal to 0. Clear? Now let's take x square term all together, so I'll have 1 plus m square. Then I'll take x terms together, so I get what, 2mc. Then I have got 2g. I've also got 2fm as well. And what are the constant terms here? 2fc plus c is equal to 0. Clear? They will satisfy each other. Okay. Sahil, when you say they will satisfy each other, I'll try to make you understand what is the exact meaning of this. The meaning is they both have the same xy values for those intersection point. What I mean to say is, let's say if I calculate the xy point value for this line at this point, do you think they would satisfy? No, because circle has got different y ka value at this x. At this x, circle has got this y's value and this y's value, so two different y's value. Whereas for the intersection point for the same x, we are getting the same value for the line as well as for the circle. So for the intersection point, they should get the same value. I hope I cleared your sentence. Your sentence should be clear so that it should become easier for you to understand. You should not get confused in future also. So now this quadratic equation has what, two real roots, because this line is intersecting this circle. So my discriminant should be what, greater than 0. And when I do that, what do I get? I get b square. So b square is this. So 4 mc plus g plus f of m whole square minus 4 ac. So 1 plus m square into, what is c here? Twice of fc plus c is this should be greater than 0. So this is my condition. Now I can take 4 to the right hand side, so I'll have mc plus g plus f of m whole square minus 1 plus m square, and then I have twice of fc plus c is greater than 0. Clear? So this is the condition. This is the condition for intersection. Clear? I hope this is clear with you guys. Okay. Now just imagine if you want to simplify it further, we can do that also, and that will give us a very good condition which we see in books. We always see that in books. What is that? I'll just come directly here, or let's do one thing. Let's leave our research, whatever our exploration till here. Remember this condition, okay? Let's solve question. We'll use this inequality further to derive other results. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's solve this question first. If the line a1x plus b1y plus c1 is equal to 0 and a2x plus b2y plus c2 is equal to 0, cut the coordinate axis in concyclic points. Then prove that this is equal to this. So this question, see, we can solve this question in two ways. But I would tell you that better we use geometry to solve this question, because this question will become a very simple question and it will be solved within a minute, not more than that. So let's first solve this question. What it says, if the line this and this line cut the coordinate axis. So let's see where exactly this line cuts the coordinate axis. So this cuts the coordinate axis at x is equal to minus c1 a1, and this y is equal to minus c1 upon b1 is equal to 1. Clear? So let's say this is my line and this is what the point, minus c1 upon a1 comma 0, and this is what, 0 comma minus c1 upon b1. Similarly, let's talk about this line. This line would cut x upon minus c2 by a2 plus y upon minus b2 by c2 is equal to 1. So let's say that line is here and here it is, and at y-axis it cuts at 0 comma minus b2 by c2, and here it cuts at minus of c2 by a2 comma 0. Yes, Adya. Yes. Do share your approach. What's your approach? So let's listen to Adya's approach. Okay, so I'll explain both the approaches first. So as it says that these 4 points are cone cyclic, that means they are lying on a circle. Now one way is that since we know the general equation of circle x square plus y square plus 2gx plus 2fy plus c is equal to 0. As you can see in this equation, three unknowns g, f and c, three unknowns are there, and luckily we have been given 4 points. So we can just put our points, because points are lying on the circle, so they would satisfy, and eventually we'll get certain condition, and using that condition we can find out this easily. It can happen. And this is our approach number one. The second approach is wait a minute, let me just read what Adya has said. The equation of through the intersection of line this and the axis, the equation of through intersection of line hence the cyclic the curve must be represented circle, so coefficient of x square should be coefficient of y square. So what she says is the equation of through intersection of lines this and the axis. So what she says is, let's say curve 1 curve. Okay, so what Adya has said, that is also a really good approach, so that I have not thought about it. That is approach number 3. So I'll explain you what she has done. Okay, because that's a bit different approach, but yes, that's a good approach. Okay, so I'll tell you what exactly can be done in all these 3 approaches. So approach number 1, where we have got 4 points, we can take the general equation and we can just satisfy the equation of this circle one by one, and we can find out the condition. So satisfying all 4 points. Second approach, which I really like, that is your geometrical approach. So in geometry, if let's say all these points are lying on a circle, I'll just erase a bit. I'll erase it and clean it so that it becomes easier for you to understand. Wait. So in geometry, we have a very good thing. If we have chords, sorry for my drawing, but so if we have chord, so and these 2 chords, if we join them like this, let's say this is one chord and this is another chord, if we join them and they intersect, let's say point, and let's say I'll give this as x, and let's say this is A, this is B, and this is C, so this is C, and let's say this is D. So in geometry, what we have studied is that ax into xc is equal to what? That is b of x into xd. This is there. So if luckily if we use that, this question can be solved in only in one step. How? See, what is ax? Ax is what? This is x is what? Origin, because they are intersecting at origin. So ax will be what? Square root c1 square upon a1 square. Similarly, this my xc will be what? c2 square upon a2 square. Hi, Winon, gaming up, gaming. and this will be equal to what? Bx will be what? Bx will be square root c1 square upon b1 square. Then we'll have another thing which is your c2 upon b2. So I'll have my c2 square upon b2 square. Clear? Now because of this square and this square root, everything will cancel out. So I'll have what? c1 into c2 upon a1 into a2. Similarly here c1 into c2 upon b1 into b2. c1 c2 will cancel out. So finally what I'll have? a1 a2 is equal to b1 b2. So this is approach number 2, which I really like, because from this the question can be solved in one step. Now let's talk about approach number 3, which Adya has shared, which is a really good. It's like something new to me as well. It's an experience. Hi Vinon Gaming OP. This is for class 11th. This is circle. Okay. Now this is approach number 3. What Adya has suggested. Adya says we have got a pair of straight lines. So pair of straight lines. So let's say this straight line and this straight line, they make equation. Okay. So when they make an equation, this pair of straight lines. So this is a curve. Now this curve and our coordinate axis system, they have a curve, again pair of straight lines. So this is one pair of straight line, this is another pair of straight line. So when they are intersecting at 4 different points, as we can clearly see. When they intersect, so from their intersection point, a third curve can pass, correct? So that third curve, how can we write the equation of the third curve? If you remember, curve number 1 plus lambda times curve number 2 will give you curve number 3. Now what she says is, let's say we get curve number 3. If curve number 3 represents what? A circle. So what all condition it should satisfy? First, the xy terms coefficient. The coefficient of xy should be 0 and the coefficient of x square should be equal to coefficient of y square. So this is what she said, and absolutely right. Okay, now I'll tell you one thing. With this approach, it's a absolutely right approach. There is no harm about this approach, but you will end up wasting a lot of time. Why? Because you have to cross multiply, apply first these two lines, correct? When you multiply, because almost you get what, 3 into 3, 9 terms, then you will have plus lambda times xy. Clear? So lambda needs to be 0 for sure. Why? Because xy term, we can't have xy coefficient for circle's equation, so lambda needs to be 0. Then post that you will have to check the coefficient of x square and then coefficient of y square, and they both should be equal. Okay, so sorry, my bad, I said lambda should be 0. No, lambda would not be 0 for sure, because when you multiply these two lines, a1x plus b1y plus c1 is equal to 0 and a2x plus b2y plus c2, you will get xy term for sure. So those coefficients plus lambda will be equal to 0. I hope all of you got these 3 approaches. If you have any doubt, you're free to ask regarding all these 3 approaches. If you want, I can just solve, let's say for approach number 1, I'll solve it for you guys if you want. Okay, I'll do it. Wait a minute. Okay, yes. So I'll just clean it up and then I can show you guys, because I know people might have solved using approach number 1 also, but it's just when I'm doing it, I want you to show that yes, where exactly we can save time. So as you can clearly see, in approach number 2 we can save a lot of time, but in approach number 1 it will take slightly more time. Why? Because we are going to write 4 steps. See, so x square will be what? First minus c1 square upon so we'll have this a1 square, y will be 0, then we'll have minus of 2g c1 upon a1, then y will be 0, then we'll have c equal to 0. Now another equation will be what? c2 square upon a2 square plus 0 minus 2g c2 upon a2 plus c is equal to 0. Clear? Now we have one more equation like this: c2 square upon b2 square minus 2f c2 upon b2 plus c is equal to 0. And from here, what do we see? c1 upon b1 square minus twice of f c1 upon b1 plus c is equal to 0. So now you have got what? 4 quadratic equations. Now just see. Look at this equation, and this equation. What do you see? Can't you see that it just the variable has changed, but the equation is still the same? The quadratic expression, see, the coefficient of this, the first term, the square term is what? 1, 1. Then for this c1 upon a1, it's just the variable has changed, but the coefficient is what? It's the same. So what does that mean? That means for, if I just rewrite this, let's say if I have this equation, I have got two roots, and those two roots are what? Those two roots are, they are simply c1 and c2. c1 upon a1 and c2 upon a2. Similarly, third and fourth, if you just look at third and fourth, what do you see? You see it is an equation like written like this: x square minus twice of f x plus c is equal to 0. This has got two sort of roots. First one is c2 upon b2 and c1 upon b1. Now, when we have this quadratic equation, what is the product of roots? And roots here is c1 into a1. c2 upon a2 is what? Product of root is c by a. So c upon a is what? 1. So we have got one equation from here. From here also, product of roots is what? c2 into c1 upon b2 upon b1 is what? C by 1. So this is your equation number, let's say 2, and this is your equation number 1. You can equate c. C is equal, c is a constant. You can equate. Finally, you get a1 into a2 is equal to b1 into b2. Clear? So from approach number 2 also you got the answer. So anyways, you can solve the question. It is just you must know how to proceed. Okay, let's go ahead. If the line is drawn through a fixed point, P is alpha comma beta, to cut the circle. So we have got a circle whose center is what? Origin, and the radius is what? A. My radius is A, center is 0 comma 0. Clear? Now there is a point, let's say P, which is at alpha and beta. Now from this point you have drawn line, and that line intersect at A and B. This is my A and this is my B. So this guy says give me the value of PA is equal to PB. Okay. Now again I literally give you guys again a few minutes, not few minutes but a minute to solve this question. Adya, you can also try and then tell me the answer. I can tell you the approaches also. Yes, you have, okay, you have 45 seconds. Adya, you have 45 seconds to solve the question. Okay, go ahead. Okay guys, now I'll solve it. Okay, so this question, see, the very first thing I know what people must have thought about it, that since a point is given to them, they can just get a line's equation. So line's equation will be what? Y minus beta is equal to slope m, x minus alpha. They can assume the slope m. Now they know this line and they know the circle's equation. They can just solve it and they'll find the equation of they'll find the coordinate of a and b in terms of m. You see, m is there and slope is what? Unknown to you guys. Then they can use distance formula. They'll calculate PA and then they'll calculate PB. This is what they have thought. This is the very first thought they always think. But tell me guys, do you really think you want to go ahead with this approach? First solving the quadratic, very difficult quadratic, to find out the coordinates. Then use the distance formula. And after using the distance formula also, you will get the answer in terms of m, slope, which is again not known to you guys. So this is not the right approach, as in you have to think about something else. I hope everything is clear. When I'm saying, I guess you can imagine what you are trying to do. So that means this is not the right way. Let's think about something else. So can we use geometry? Yes, we can. Now there used to be a property, let's say from an outside point, if I draw tangent. So let's say tangent touches here at T. So I used to know that PT square used to be equal to, if I draw a chord and it cuts at A and B, so PA into PB, it used to be equal to PA into PB. So what does that mean? That means if I can calculate the tangent's length, then I can easily calculate PA into PB. So now my main focus directly shifted to calculate how to calculate this tangent's length. Okay, now let's see how can we calculate. It's easy. See, I'll tell you why. I'll just join this point here. Let's say this is O point and this is my point where this touches the circle. So when it touches the circle, so I know it touches the circle at 90 degree, correct? This is what, so triangle OTP is what? Right angle triangle. So in right angle triangle we can easily use Pythagoras theorem, correct? So we have to calculate this PT square. This radius I already know, that is what A, it is given to me. Now this hypotenuse is also luckily known to me. How? Because I know this point's coordinate, P's coordinate, and I know center's coordinate, so I can use distance formula. So what will be my hypotenuse? Hypotenuse will be alpha square plus beta square whole square will be equal to what? My base square plus this PT square. My PT square would be what? Alpha square plus beta square minus A square. See, the question is solved only in one step. You do not need to take that difficult approach. So this is what happens in IIT questions also. It seems that you are going to choose a path which is slightly bigger, slightly lengthier, but honestly they never want you to choose a difficult path or go for a calculation thing, because they personally do not want you to check your calculation skills. Not at all. They want you to check your basics. They want you to check your concepts. That's it. See, this is the right question for JEE. Only in one step you can solve the question. It's just you need to use your brains. Okay, I hope you got the question, you got the basics. Shall we move ahead? Okay, let's go ahead. Oh, we have got one theory. Now the thing is, how can we find the tangent's equation at a given point? Now a given point is, let's say someone has given you the circle's equation. This is the general form. And now that someone comes and says, okay dude, I need to find the equation of circle at x1 comma y1 point at the circle. So how can we do that? Okay, it's easy. I'll tell you how. Now just let's use our brains. We know what is this center's coordinates. We know minus g minus f. Now tell me one thing. So for an equation of a straight line, what do we need? We need a passing point and slope. Now see one thing, you already know the passing point, let's check. You just need what? Slope. How can you find the slope? Luckily you know this coordinate of center. So if you join this line will be perpendicular to the tangent, this radius, right? So if we can calculate this line segment slope, and then we can easily calculate the perpendicular line slope, right? So let's calculate the slope of this radius. This would be y1 plus f upon x1 plus g. Now what would be the slope of this tangent? Minus 1 upon y1 plus f, and this would come up, so x1 plus g. So this would be the slope. You know the passing point, you know the slope. Let's find out the equation of tangent. So y minus y1 is equal to slope x1 plus g upon y1 plus f into x minus x1. That's it. So let's multiply. So what do we have? Y into y1 minus y1 whole square plus f of y minus f y1 is equal to minus times x1 into x, then we have x1 square, then we have got what? Plus gx minus gx1. I'll open the bracket, so I'll have minus sign here, I'll have plus sign here, I'll have a minus sign here, I'll have plus sign here. Clear? Now let's shift everything to the right hand side. So what do I have? x1 square plus y1 square. So these two terms are sorted. Okay, now let's focus on gx1. Okay, g terms. So when I take g terms, what do I see? Wait a minute. Okay, when I take, let's say this is done. Now I can take this x1 square plus y1 square, correct? Then I have got this also. Okay, plus now I have got x terms. So for x terms I'll have what? Minus of g, I'll take common. Sorry, minus of x I'll take common. Wait a minute. Okay, so I have got minus of x common. So what do I have? I'm left with x1 plus g. Clear? So this and this term is also done. Then I have g of x1 also. Then I have got minus y1 plus f y1, then minus of fy. So again I can take this y common and I can make it as I can take f common, so y common, so I'll make it minus of y. Now this is equal to what? 0. Clear? Now let's look at a very good thing here. Now just see here. If I, because as I know that this x1 y1 lies where? It lies on the circle. That means it would satisfy the circle's equation also. That means x1 square plus y1 square plus 2g x1 plus 2f y1 plus c will be what? 0. Clear? So let's use these values. So I can directly put x1 square plus y1 square is what? Minus of 2gx1 minus of 2fy1 minus c. Clear? And this is equal to minus x1 minus xg plus g of x1 minus f of y minus y of y1 plus f of y1 is equal to 0. Let's simplify this. Now minus 2gx1, so we have already gx1, so this will cancel out, so finally I'll have minus of gx1. Similarly I have minus twice of fy1, I have fy1 positive, so this will cancel out, so I'll have minus fy1. Clear? Now is there anything left for me? No, nothing. So I'll take minus common. from the left hand side. So what do I have left with? I'll just take my red pen so that you can just focus on the terms one by one. So see, I have taken minus common. So see, every term is what? Having negative sign here. So I'll take initial with this term. So x1. Then I'm done with this. Then I'll take y1. Then I'll take, let's say, g. So this term and this, I'll take g common. So what do I have? gx plus x1. Done. Now I'll take a y term, or sorry, f term. So I have this and I have this. So when I take f common, so I have y plus y1. So now what do I left with? Done, 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 done. I'm done with this. Done. Only the c is left. Plus c is equal to 0. So this is your equation of tangent at any point. And people also remember it this like this: x1 plus y1 plus gx plus x1 plus f of y plus y1 plus c is equal to 0. This is the way people write it. People write it like t is equal to 0. They call the entire term as t, tangent term. Now, how to remember this? It's very easy. See, whatever the equation of whatever the equation, general equation of circle, you just need to do a few replacement in the circle's equation. Now I'll tell you how. Whenever you get x squared term is being replaced by x1. Remember this. Y square is being replaced by y1. Your x will be replaced by x plus x1 by 2. Always remember this. Y will be replaced by y plus y1 by 2. So these are the small 4 changes you do to find out any tangents equation at any given point on the circle. And you can just extend this knowledge for any curve. When I say any curve, be it ellipse, in conic section also, be it ellipse, be it parabola, be it hyperbola, anything. Remember this. This is a very useful information. If you want, I'll just slow down. If you have any doubt, you can just ask me. I'll explain you again. But remember this interpretation. This is very helpful for you guys. See, x square, I wrote it like xx1. Y square, I wrote it like yy1. I wrote x as x plus x1 by 2. So it becomes what? G into x plus x1. Similarly, your y, I wrote y plus y1 by 2. So it becomes what? F into y plus y1. And then finally the constant c. Exactly, I have 5 terms. I have written the 5 terms exactly the same. The way I told you, you will be transforming them. If anyone has any doubt regarding how to remember this equation of tangent, you're free to ask. You can ask. Or else we'll move ahead. Okay, no one has any doubt. Let's move ahead. Oh, so now we have tangent of a circle in a slope form. So what does that mean? Let's say the circle's equation is like this. And this is what? Y is equal to mx plus c. Now when someone says slope form, this is a slope form. Now if you remember, let's go back to, I told you that remember this inequality. This is very helpful. So this inequality, now let's solve this inequality. Now instead of intersecting, we are finding the condition for this line y plus mx plus c being a radius, so being a tangent. That means we are going to have only one solution because both the roots are coinciding. That's why it is touching. So for that, we'll just, the left hand thing will be equal to what? Will be equal to 0. So let's do that. MC plus G plus FM whole square minus 1 plus M square into 2FC plus C. This will be equal to 0. So let's say I equated this to here 0. Let's solve this. Let's square this for it. So when we square it, what do we see? M square C square plus G square plus twice of MCG plus F square M square plus twice of FM F m square c plus twice of fm g, done. With this square, this will be equal to what? 1. So I'll have twice of fc plus c plus m square twice of fc plus cm square. Now this is the what? This is quadratic in slope m. Now just look at this. This slope can have only one value, right? Yes or no? Yes, absolutely right. We can have only one slope here in this because it is being a tangent, right? So you can find out the condition that what will be the value of tangent. True. So for that, what you can do? You can directly solve the equation tangent for the value of tangent. You can directly solve it. So m square c square. Okay, so do we have like any term like this? No, we don't have. So I am taking m square common. So what do I have? C square plus f square plus 2fc. Any other m square term? Yes, I do have. Okay, see, 2fmc square, 2fc m square. So this term will cancel out. Luckily, so we are sorted with this term. Then I have this term left. cm square, so minus of c. So this term and this term, m square term, they are done. Let's take m common. So I have got what? 2cg plus 2fg. Clear? And what else? Do I have any m term? No. Now let's write down the constant terms. So this is done, this is done. So in constant term I have g square. I have also got this is done. I have got minus of 2fc minus c. That's it. Is equal to 0. Now if you solve this quadratic expression, if you solve, I'll tell you what sort of the values of m you'll get. So I am not solving this equation right now because it is a bit complicated equation, though we can solve it. M is equal to minus b plus minus square root b square minus 4ac upon 2a. We can do that. But generally that's how you solve any sort of question when you get. This is the basic standard formula or basic approach we always follow. And let me tell you guys what sort of equation you get when you try to solve in slope form. You get this sort of thing: y plus f is equal to x plus g plus minus, you get g square plus f square minus c square root 1 plus m square. This is what you get for tangent. This is the tangent you get always. Okay. Luckily, now just imagine if someone gives you a specific case like this. You have been given this circle and this is the tangent. Then people always find this condition that c will be equal to plus minus a root 1 plus m square. This is the condition they find, and it is written everywhere in the books. Everywhere. So you can use this condition also if you feel like. But this is for a specific case. Remember, what is the specific case? This thing, x square plus y square is equal to a square is the circle. But for any general circle, this is the slope form. Remember this. I hope things are clear in your mind. Okay, so I know till today we had difficult theories, but it's very useful. So I would recommend you guys to just revise it, whatever we have covered. Just note that down and revise it properly, because based on this knowledge we'll be deriving more formulas and we'll be solving more questions as well. Clear? I hope everything is clear with you guys. So I'll just say goodbye to you guys, but I would like to give you one really good information that now every day on Unacademy application I am conducting this fun day series. So today we did functions questions. Now tomorrow there are two sessions. One is at 11 a.m. and in that we'll be covering questions related to circles. So whatever we have studied so far, you can come tomorrow and solve the questions there. And one more session is there for JEE advanced students at 9 p.m. on the Unacademy application. You can just go to the application and just search for Nishant Khanduja Fun Day series. That's it. And you can come and join. Just install the Unacademy application. That's it. Okay. I hope you like this session. If you have liked this session, first like it, give me a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe the channel. And do hit the bell icon, because if at all I'll come live in future, you'll always get notification. And people, those who are going to join or buy any subscription package on Unacademy application, you are advised to use this code NK001. Why? Because you'll get 10% off. Okay, goodbye guys. Thank you. Thanks a lot for attending the lecture. Tomorrow at 7 o'clock, I'll see you with the same topic, and we will be studying further and solving more questions. So it's a just request, whatever we have covered today, revise it. Good night guys. Take care. Bye bye.